Well, a very good evening to Farage, and yes, I'm Richard Tyson. We've got an absolutely outstanding hour ahead. It's frankly hard to keep up with what is going on at the moment. The last 3 days have been huge, seismic in British politics. But today, the Supreme Court ruled the Rwanda scheme that the government had absolutely pinned all their hopes on. The Supreme Court ruled that, no, it is unlawful. And it's important to examine what they've actually said and what I think are some serious contradictions before we get to our first guest. The Supreme Court, they've said that actually, in the light of the evidence which I've summarised, the Court of Appeal concluded there are such grounds to make it unlawful. Absolutely extraordinary, saying here that there are good grounds for thinking asylum seekers are going to be at risk in Rwanda, that it is not a safe country. That's what the Supreme Court have ruled. They were relying on UNHCR evidence. That's the UN Refugee Agency. Well, you might think that's all very proper. We should trust them. No problem at all. The Rwanda government immediately issued a stinging rebuke of this judgment. They said that the Supreme Court had relied on extreme and speculative concerns based on hypocritical criticisms by the UNHCR, which has on numerous occasions expressed its appreciation of Rwanda's inclusive refugee policies, qualifying them as exemplary. What's going on here? We've got the Supreme Court saying the country's not safe for asylum seekers, and yet we've got Rwandan government saying the UNHCR says they've been exemplary. So that's the second bit. I have here a 29-page report from the UNHCR dated April 2023. I've read it. It's a little bit dry, but I have to tell you, there is no criticism whatsoever of the Rwandan government in the way that they are dealing with over 100,000 asylum seekers. Are you confused? I am. Who's telling the truth on this? It's extraordinary. You might think it's an establishment stitch-up for all of this. So there's the conflicting evidence. What does it all actually practically mean? Well, this, folks, is when I want you to think of something you may well have at home. A magnet. Yes, have you got a big magnet at home? What is a magnet? I tell you what it is. It's a powerful attraction. It attracts things. It attracts people. That's what a magnet does. So here we've got a ruling, and there it is. A picture of a magnet flying above the white cliffs of Dover. And guess what it's going to do? I think it's going to pull more illegal migrants across the English Channel, because now they know that the government's big deterrent scheme, the Rwanda scheme, it's in the bin. It's finished, gone. It's not exactly a deterrent now, is it? The second big pull factor, which has emerged and hasn't had proper scrutiny, is that if you're an asylum seeker and you've been here for a year, good news, folks. Yes, you can get a work permit, you can go to work. You might say there's a labour shortage, that might be a good thing. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But it's the magnet factor, isn't it? It's the pull. We've got a Home Office that doesn't believe in controlling our borders, and we've got over 170,000 people waiting a decision. Many of them have been waiting over 2 years. So if you come across the Channel, there's no deterrent, you're not going to Rwanda, and there's every chance you'll be here for a year, and therefore you'll be able to work. Yes, good news, you will pay a bit of tax if you've got a decent job, you're above the threshold. But you see what I mean? It's the magnet factor, it's the pull factor. And that, folks, is my big question to you. I want your views on this, of course. Will this ruling, will it make illegal migration worse?